I'm Joanna. Welcome to the fourth session of the MOOC on the recommendation on youth work of the Council of Europe. We are halfway through our MOOC, so congrats. I'm happy you are here with us and you are engaging in our MOOC. I hope this is a learning experience for you and a more in-depth look into this wonderful document. During this session and the next two, we will cover the recommendations that are in the document. So there are 7 recommendations. And in this first session with me, we will cover the first 2. And in the following 2 sessions, my colleague Diana and me will take care of the rest. Okay, so let's get it started. The first recommendation starts, in my opinion, with a powerful sentence or message, which sets the scene for both the recommendation itself, but also the rest of the recommendations. I would kindly ask you to pause the video for a second and go to the first link that you have under the video and read the recommendation if you didn't manage to by now. It's important to note the text before we start looking into it. Also make sure you have it on hand. And I would also suggest that anytime we are working on recommendations, you take notes and write questions, reflective aspects, anything like that. It's important for your learning process. I'm doing that. So please take the example and do the same. Now go down there and read it again and see you in a second. Okay, we are back. I hope you read that. If you read it before, that's great. So let's start looking into it. As I said, I think that the first recommendation starts with a powerful sentence and message, which says as follows: Member states should ensure that the establishment or further development of quality youth work is safeguarded and proactively supported within local, regional and national youth policies. This means that member states should allow youth work to develop as much as possible, to give youth work the space, the resources that it needs to develop as much as possible. Then we are going to look a bit into some keywords that are mentioned in the recommendation, starting with strategies. Even if we are talking long-term strategies or short-term strategies, there should be a strategy on local, regional or national level that supports youth work. Then we have frameworks and legislations, which sometimes might sound scary, but they are also needed to make sure that youth work offers the right opportunities for young people to develop. Then we are talking sustainable structures and resources and coordination with other sectors and related policies. These go more or less hand in hand. They are important to each other, but they can also be taken separately. Member states should make sure that there are structures and resources available for youth workers to access in order to make sure that youth work has a real impact on young people's lives, as well as providing access to other or different sectors or policies that impact youth work and young people in any way. The recommendation ends with as important sentence as it started with, and it goes like this: Youth workers and young people should be actively engaged in any planned measures for implementation of the recommendation. Now I'm asking you, are you involved in anything like that? Any activities, any events, conferences, projects, or anything like that your country or your authorities are organizing? It's important to have a seat at the table and to bring your experience and your expertise there for them to be able to develop the strategies, the frameworks, the legislations we mentioned earlier that are actually needed for your practice. Do you have a seat at the table? If not, get a chair and go sit there. The second recommendation refers to member states establishing a competency-based framework for education and training of paid and volunteer youth workers. I can't stress enough how important and beneficial it is for youth workers to have access to quality education and professional development. They are the ones working with young people, they are the ones providing opportunities for young people. Why not give them the same opportunities and quality education as to any other profession? Of course, when talking about education and training of youth workers, we should take into consideration the existing practices, the new trends, and the diversity of youth work. I think my colleagues covered well enough the diversity of youth work and how there are not two countries with the same approach and practices regarding youth work. So youth workers should be aware of that, should be aware that if they need something new, they can look there or there or there or there, but at the same time, they can use what they already have and develop them according to the needs of the society and, of course, of the young people they are working with. Before moving into the tasks for today's session, I would really like to point out something. Yes, the recommendation was developed for the member states, and each recommendation refers to the member states, but I think it's also equally important for youth workers and young people to get involved in the process of implementing these recommendations. So please get involved, follow a bit around your local, regional, or national level processes, and get involved as much as possible, as much as you want, because this will help you in your future work. Okay, moving on to the tasks for today's session. Um, we have a set of questions for each recommendation. Don't get scared. It's not as big and impossible as it might look like. It's more of looking into your own reality. Therefore, please look if there is any law or strategy on youth work in your country. It might not be at national level, but even regional or local level. And if there are not, look into if there are processes starting into developing them, and if that also not, which I know it's the case for a lot of countries, see how you can maybe initiate the process. Also, please look into how youth work is funded in your country. So let's talk money. For the second recommendation, there's another set of questions. For the first part, I would like you to point out which are the steps into becoming a youth worker in your country. We know that some countries have university level programs, others have private companies offering a youth worker course or anything like that. So, and if there is the case for you in your country to have something like that in place, so tell us a bit about it. Also, tell us if youth worker is a recognized profession in your country, since when, which was the impact when it was introduced, what's the state of it now. If this is not the case for your country, tell us if there's a process like this starting, and if not, do you think it would be beneficial to start it? Because there are countries where a youth worker is not a recognized profession, but still youth workers feel that it shouldn't be yet. And also, for the ones of you who are youth workers, we would really like you to share with the others your journey of becoming a youth worker, from where you started and where you are now, some highlights and downsides along the way. Share them in the comments down there. For the two sets of questions, there will be a Google form link down there where you can submit your answers. And for the last one, regarding your journey of becoming a youth worker, you can submit them in the comments directly. Also, please make sure you stay in contact with us. You can also ask questions down there, or I don't know, if you had an aha moment, you can write it there. I think other participants will be happy to hear them, as well as send us any questions or anything, any feedback that you have regarding the MOOC to mooc@ecic.org. You know it already by now, I think. A new video where we answer your questions is coming, so please make sure you send all your questions and keep an eye on the platform. Thank you for being with us today. I hope it was a good one. I hope you understood better and got a deeper insight into each recommendation. And see you in the following sessions. Bye!